Hey everyone, my name is Nina Zeta and I'm Director of Partnerships at Sidewalker Daily. And today I'm going to go really deep down and gritty on all things branding. So my experience is on the brand side. Actually, I work with brands on their influencer marketing and I book press trips and I do all that good stuff. I also work with influencers. And the reason the topic of branding is so important, I talked about it in a previous video, and that video was really short, and it was how to stand out as a travel blogger, and one way was branding. But I want to do its own video on this topic because A, I'm passionate about it, and B, it relates to a blog post that we did that was 27 tips. I'm going to try to give you as many as I can now so that we can really dive in and understand why branding is going to help you become a successful travel blogger or influencer. So first, your handle. It is super important that you know that your handle is your brand. Whether ours is Sidewalker Daily, whether it's your name, whatever the handle is reflects the brand. Now, one thing I always tell my students is, especially in the very beginning, is if you are, I don't know, like Tutti Frutti Cutie, that's a cute name and all, and that's fine. Just know that whatever you choose now is going to be with you in the long term. So develop your brand name to be something that you have on all platforms. So not just social media. Go buy that domain name right now. Go to GoDaddy, look it up. If your handle is already taken, that may mean, you can get creative, but it's going to be tough because how can you build a brand and then not ever have a website that has the same brand name, right? You need to think longevity. Branding is so much more than just colors and logos and fonts. And while it's important to focus on those things, it gets deeper. Let's talk about your email. Have you ever considered your email address part of your brand? Okay, I'll give you an example. What do you think would look more professional to a brand that you're pitching to? Nina@sidewalkerdaily.com or sidewalkerdaily@gmail.com. Now, if you went with the first option, Nina@sidewalkerdaily.com, you are correct. Your email represents you. And if you are now having your, a Gmail address that you throw out and pitch with, I don't know, it just doesn't look good. It's just like visual. It's like a brand, it's branding, If you start to treat your blog and your influence as a brand, others will treat you as a brand. If you treat yourself as like a little guy, others will look at you in that way as well. So yeah, definitely consider your email something to make sure it reflects how you want it to look. And while we're talking about email, don't forget the email signature block. The best and the biggest brands in the world have an email signature block. So should you. Maybe include a relevant blog post or something that did really, really well. Include your social media handles, your title, something quick and easy, but include the email signature block because again, it shows that you're taking a little step further to advance your own brand. Now, one thing I think a lot of travel influencers and bloggers and content creators forget is that they treat their social media handles as the front door. But you're wrong. When it comes to booking partnerships, brands, we always go on your website. And if your website is like a little rink-a-dink guy, it is just not even worth having up there. Honestly, it will hurt you in the long term. I always suggest to there's so many, first of all, tools and resources to make your website, look good nowadays. There's no reason to not. And we live in a world that you can teach yourself anything. So if I can build our website with zero tech background, you can build yours. And look at your website as the front door. Especially if you're a content creator, it can be simple. You don't need to have blog posts, but you need to have a work with me tab. You need to have a page that's your portfolio that shows your work. You're expecting people to go on your Instagram and scout through all your work. It's just at the end of the day, something that you scroll through, but your website needs to be professional. And that's why branding is looking at your blog as a brand and treating it as such. Another approach for branding that I think you should consider is making sure you have a 360 approach. So if you have one photo or one logo, that should be the main image on all your accounts. It gets really confusing if you have photos that are all over the place, and that kind of goes for your bio as well and your slogan. Your slogan is something that you should consider as part of your overall brand strategy. What does your slogan say about you? What does your quick about us say about you? These are strategic things. I had a student who's about us, while it was super interesting because it talked about her background as a brand, I'm like, I don't want to read all this. Like, I need to know your skill set. I need to know your expertise. I need to know why I should want to work with you. You can do an about me blog post that has the whole bread and butter of, how your sister's uncle, whatever. Get to the point with your about, and get to making sure that your slogan, your story is cohesive on all platforms. Another way that you can really brand yourself and brand your influence, so to speak, is to know your niche. We talk about this a lot at Sidewalker Daily because we're all about niching down. Now, there's two ways that I like to really suggest. Way one is if you're in travel, you can be in a lot of different locations, but talk about one or two things. Or you can flip that on its head and be in a few locations and talk about a lot of things. So for example, I met a blogger recently whose slogan or tagline was like Florida, the Bahamas, and beyond. That's it. She's not talking about anything else. And while you may be like, well, why is she limiting herself? All her readers are either people who want to go to Florida or people who want to go to the Caribbean. And these are, from a brand side, a very specific reader. We are pumped. We know that the people that are on her page aren't living like, are interested in going and aren't like random. So don't underestimate the power of going niche in geography and only talking about certain locations. I also have another student that only talks about New York City to be exact. She says everything you can do in New York, but New York City is her geography of choice. So what does that mean? Brands in New York, while her scope is limited to who she can pitch to, New York City is a freaking big place and there's a lot to do, trust me. And she, her readers are interested in New York City. So it kind of goes, people that are brands in New York are going to, especially restaurants and hotels and things to do and tour operators are going to want to work with her because her audience is hyper-focused. Another way that you can brand yourself is through your editing style. So it's really crazy if you're all over the place, moody in one photo, super saturated in the other. It's just kind of like a hot mess. So I actually, through Sidewalker and Clarice too, we can look at people's photos and we're like, oh, we know that's her without even knowing that it was, she's the one in the photo just based on editing. I mean, we all know what Travel in Her Shoes Aggie's photos look like, right? We can just tell. And by creating this like sense of style, this vibe, it is setting yourself apart and it's branding yourself. And of course, in the future, if you ever wanted to sell presets, people are basically buying your vibe, your aesthetic. And it's a really smart way to brand yourself by creating a overall look. When it comes to branding, another thing that I saw on an influencer and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so smart. She did a designated hashtag that broke it out into key messages. So what she did was she put hashtag her name and travels. So anytime you put that hashtag in, it's a collection of all her travel photos. And it's super smart because if you're pitching to a brand and you want to show them just your travel photos, you can hashtag blog travels or hashtag blog fashion or hashtag blog culinary or whatever, hashtag blog. If you come up with designated hashtags that other people are not using, you can use this as a way to categorize and sort through your content. And that's a really smart way to brand yourself in your pitching, but as well as developing this sort of like hashtag, this conversation all around one sort of content. The last tip I'm going to leave you with today is the importance of defining your brand voice. you can't talk to everyone. This video wouldn't make sense to everyone, but it sure makes a lot of sense to influencers and travel bloggers, right? And that's who I'm talking to. That's where all our blog posts are dedicated to, our stories, our video. It's to you guys. And ultimately, I can change how I act or what I say, but the content is going to, my tone, the content is a certain way. I know my audience. And it's really helpful for you as travel influencers to do the same thing. Have someone that you're talking to in mind. Know who your audience is. When you are pitching and you can feel confident that your audience is, you know who they are, you know their demographics, you know exactly how to speak to them to get them to act. That's golden. It is golden. So whether you're playful or funny or inspirational, whether you have how you communicate with your audience is super important in developing your brand. So if you guys are interested in knowing more ways, I've included the link below on 27 tips. I hope you guys found this video useful and helpful and are excited about building your brand as I am, because I am all about branding. It is the best thing about being on social. So give us a like, comment your thoughts. I want to hear. I'll be engaging with you guys, and subscribe to our channel, and I will see you in the next video.